Basically, our firm is Joshua and Associates, the founder. We have Kelantan branch, we have Penang branch, and we have Selangor branch, Selangor KL, so to speak. So Johor branch, the Gendala, due to the MCO, we're supposed to launch it in early May or late April. But when the MCO hit, we had to stop everything. But we are also actually having cases in Johor Bahru quite regularly already. The other side is Ipoh and Kuantan. These two cities also we are going here quite regularly, maybe 1 month once or twice. Okay, so our area of practice is estate administration. This is for the main area, and also the areas around it like family law, debt recovery, contracts, all these S&P, transfer land. We do this. So during this MCO, today the idea of your leaders' invitation is to have a discussion maybe and some and we can answer some of the questions that you may have regarding employment. But in my opinion, the questions asked during this MCO that I always get is about employment and about land. That means what as a landlord and as a tenant, what's my right? Because they cannot do business, they cannot. So they want to know whether can continue the contract, or need to pay, don't need to pay. And then thankfully, the government has announced packages. These packages are, of course, the details are as per government announcement, but it has lessened some of the burden. At the same time, some of the doubts that landlords or tenants or employees may have. So perhaps I can share a bit here. If you have already received the WhatsApp, the article that one of my associates did, Miss Yap, on the 3rd of April. We blast it on the 3rd of April, approximately almost midnight, I think, and then send on the 4th of April as well. So those information is as of 3rd April. We can have a look at that. I'll put as share screen. Okay, I'll put as a share screen.
Yep.
Right. So this is the little article we did. So actually it's mainly also for our those that work together with us, and then agents, franchisees, planners, will writers, for them and also for you, and also to be given to client request. Okay, so I will just briefly go through this, and as along the way I may give you some updates. I think that will be easier. So there are some questions that we have posted here. This MCO, let me make it very clear, maybe as an introduction. This MCO is something that Malaysia has never had this before. So I don't think any lawyer can say that they are expert in pertaining to this particular act, which the government has just invoked. So this Prevention and Control of Infectious Disease Act 1988. This is something that is very new to a lot of people, laymen and professionals. So because of that, no one was prepared for this, including ourselves, law firms. So when we talk about contract, we talk about the businesses. This clause that is related to all this is usually not something that we have prepared . So let me just go through the question. Okay, first question, it says here, can an employer operate business as usual? So this question and answer now have changed because the government yesterday at 4 o'clock has issued a general statement that there will be new industry that can operate. Then subsequently there was announcement under MITI, what do you call this, under this MITI, where is it? Ministry of International Trade and Industry. I just saw the Facebook as well. So yeah, it's they have listed what are the industries that can operate, but have to apply for permission on the 13th of April. So example, they mentioned there legal services. So it is an interesting statement because that includes us lawyers. Personally, I don't agree. Personally, I don't agree. I want to work, we want to work, but I don't agree that it should be open now. Because if you notice about the disease, it's something about the virus. It's something that when they announce, let's say you got 100% positive today, Actually, the test was done 1 week ago. So in between, they could be more. So I feel that it's not something that we should start operating. But in any event, government has announced, and there are rules to follow. Now, what are these rules? How to go about it? We don't know. Because until we do the actual application, until we get a letter of clearance, then we will know. But they did publish some guidelines. They published guidelines saying that how the business must run, there must be some sanitation, you must take the temperature. All this it's not really law, it's direction from government. So it's from time to time it will update and it may upgrade. So we just follow accordingly lah. We don't dispute that. I can only share with you maybe on the legal side if it's contractual. If there's other breach, some people take advantage of the situation. Okay. So question 1 is, can the employer can the employer operate business as usual? If it falls under the essential services, yes. If it's not under essential services, you have to refer to this new SOP given, where if it falls under those industry, then you can make an application to open your business. Okay, so that's some good news for as far as to do business is concerned. It's a coincidence. Yesterday morning, I have a business hair salon call me. She's not able to pay the landlord rental because she said that they cannot open the business. But if on the 13th of April she applies for it and it's approved, then she can start. She can start the business thereafter lah. So okay. So there is some frequently asked question issued by the Ministry of Human Resource. You see, I've also enclosed it under the third page here for your further reading. These are the links to get some of the answers. Mainly it's all government link website. MITI, Ministry of Human Resource over here. Then you have the Malaysian bar. There's some documents they upload, Malaysian bar. So that's the main source. Now, B, can the employer request the employee to work during this MCO? Now, I'm talking about I'm talking about essential service sector lah. Okay, so essential service sector, they have to work lah. The answer is yes lah. It is advisable that the employer can provide a company letter to the employee in order for the employee to travel to the safe workplace. Now, in practice, we notice that when the police does the roadblock and there is this letter, they don't question much lah. They allow the employee to move in view of this strict movement restriction order. Now, non-essential services, as I mentioned just now, there's a new industry that's allowed. Okay, for the other industry, the answer is no, they are not allowed to work. Okay, but interestingly, on the 30th of March, the ministry has announced that government can allow maximum 2 employees from the accounts department to travel to office on the 31st March or 1st April. This one also is the past. But if there's a further extension after the 28th of April, I think this will be allowed again. To allow the accounts to travel to the office to make payments, or if the token is there, for safety reason, or they have to sign certain documents, for example, the employer's pay slip, so they may allow them maybe on the 31st of April and 1st of May, if it's extended lah. C, must the employer continue to pay the employee salary during this MCO period? Now, answer is yes, they must. Legally, is a must. But there are other exceptions here. Now, is the employer obliged to pay salary to the employee? We're talking about essential services. If the employee refuses to work, this one is only to those under the essential services sector. So if they don't work, actually they don't have to pay lah. Without valid reason. For example, they are sick leave or self-quarantine. But if it's more than 2 consecutive days and didn't give any acceptable explanation, then they can issue a warning letter. This is just for information. This is the usual practice. Because essential services worker, they cannot say that they don't want to work unless again they are sick or self-quarantine. However, if the employee is given sick certificate or issued by a medical practitioner, then employer has to give paid sick or hospitalization leave law. That one is as usual. So they still have to pay the full salary. Okay. Now E, can the employer forces the employee to take annual leave or unpaid leave? This was an initial popular option that employer wanted to do. But if they consult us, the answer is no. If they check with the government answer, the answer is no as well. Reasons because you cannot force anybody to take up their annual leave or force them to go unpaid. You see, annual leave here says here the employer is not allowed to force or instruct the employee to take annual leave during MCO period, as the employee is entitled to annual leave. Because annual leave is something what we call as of right, depending on how many numbers of years of service. So they cannot force them to say, okay, the government quarantine 14 days, deduct 14 days annual leave. The answer is no. Unpaid leave also cannot compel. There is some consideration given if the employee agrees. Employee agree, then can. So you cannot, if you force the employee to take unpaid leave during this period without the consent, they are going to, it may come to what we call constructive dismissal. So just to let you all know about employment law, there's two types of dismissal. The first one is what do you call this? Unfair dismissal. That means pay di chawa, kena fired. That means the boss say, I don't want you to work here anymore. But if unfair is because the boss may have given a very, very lame reason. Constructive is the situation now that may happen. Constructive means can put the employee in such a situation where the employee cannot perform. So therefore, forces the employee to resign. For example, forcing the employee to work maybe on the weekend, giving employee the task that the employee is not familiarized with. The person is doing sales, you ask to do accounts or paperwork now. So the person may not be familiarized with that, and due to the poor performance, you punish the person. So cannot lah. This is constructive dismissal, where the person then automatically go and resign. So if my boss keep on pressuring me unnecessarily, forcing me to end up resign myself, I can still sue back for constructive dismissal. Okay. What if the employee is not able to pay salary? Okay, now we look from a different angle now. Now, employer cannot pay. Employer cannot pay because the employer feels that, I don't have enough business. Business is not good. So if they cannot pay, the employer can actually check with the employee first. Number one, whether can ask for reduced salary. And number two, whether can give unpaid leave or not. If the employee agrees. You see, if the reason why the employer may have to consider this is because, and the employee also must consider this, is because if the employee forces the employer to pay and the employer cannot pay, the employer can choose to close the business down. If you close the business down, all the employees will be affected. So some of them may agree to some reduction. But this question, F, I think there is now a solution really, because government has announced if you are below 4,000 salary, there is a aid provided. If you are 4,000 above, blah 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 blah, there is a different. They are all different category. So depending how many workers are there, just follow that one. Is very straightforward. If the company has below 70 staff, okay, this is the amount that can claim, 1,200. But if they follow the government's directive and follow the government's accept the government subsidy, they cannot then later fire the employee. If they fire the employee, then it becomes another industrial court case. So the one is there is some help there given by government. What if the employee is not confirmed employee? That means those that just started work. January started, now end March not yet confirmed. The employer has to pay. Still the full salary. Regardless, probationary or full time must still be the same because they have the same legal rights. If you understand, probationary doesn't mean you can anytime kick out. It's wrong. You still must have valid reason to kick the person out. Okay. Or reduce the pay or whatever reason. Can the employer retrench the employee? Now, employer, if all the employees don't want to accept the reduction in pay or accept to move that means what the employee is saying that he doesn't take the government aid, because even with the government aid he cannot sustain the business because government aid is only partial. So if the balance, the employer also cannot pay, the employer can retrench, means fire lah. But this must be done in good faith. Retrenchments must be done in good faith. You see here the ministry on the 2nd and 3rd frequently asked questions dated 23rd March, 31st March. They have explained that how is the procedure to retrench the person. Just follow only, they will give you a procedure. But the summary is, the gist is, it must be following this last in, first out principle. You see here, in the event the retrenchment is inevitable and the financial impact on the business is genuine, the employer is advised to adopt last in, first out principle. That means if I hire the first person to work for me, that person I cannot retrench first. I must retrench the last person that I hire. So like in my own firm, in my own law firm, we have a firm letterhead. So our firm letterhead has a chronology of who comes in first. So my name on top, followed by my associate Hanis, followed by who, so. So my last associate is Miss Lee Ayin, who is with us today. So if if you have to choose to fire a lawyer, then she's out first lah. She's probably laughing to herself right now lah, as we speak. Okay, so that's what we call the last in, first out principle. What is a force majeure, all kind of pronunciation for this? What is this? What is a force majeure? Now this one become a popular clause now. A lot of law firms or lawyers are talking about this online. Some doing very daringly doing online, open online session, which I feel that is a high risk and there will be room for negligence. But they are talking about this topic. You see, what is this topic about? Now, this topic I'm going to talk about employment, and I'm going to talk about landlord and tenant issue same time lah. Now, this force majeure is very interesting. This is a special clause which sometimes the contract has. That means not just employment contract, landlord-tenant contract, which is tenancy agreement, but other businesses contract, they have this, especially shipping contract. So when we do shipping contract, those FOB contracts definitely have this FOB, CIF. So what is this term about? What is this term? It's referring to the occurrence of a situation which is beyond the reasonable control of a party and prevents the party from fulfilling his or her obligation under contract. Now, it says here, of course, if the employer wants to rely on this clause, they have to make sure that the clause expressly is stated in the employment contract. That means first thing, it must be stated in the contract. If it is not stated in the contract, they cannot rely on this. That means, let's say I'm an employer, I don't want to pay my staff. I must have this term that discuss about it, that if there is this term and there's this disease, war, or what situation I'm able to perform, then the company will not pay your salary because you cannot perform because of the happening of events, for example, war, or in this case, it is a virus. So number one, the contract must have this clause. Don't have, cannot rely. Number two, if the contract has this clause, it must also be definite which side is supporting. It could be supporting the employer, it could be supporting the employee. For example, in landlord and tenant situation, it depends. Because some lawyers, when they put this clause, it appears to support the tenant, but actually doesn't support the tenant. Because when the tenant see, wow, got this clause, no need to pay a rental already because got mentioned this clause. If the clause talks about the payment, that means you cannot go to the bank. I am the employee, the tenant. Now, if I want to go out of the house, I want to go to the bank to make payment to my landlord. I cannot make payment. Maybe bank service totally down. No online, no walk-in. Or as I go out, the army stops me. The police stop me. So I'm unable to fulfill my duty and obligation. Then if it says there that that's okay, I can pay later or something like that, then I don't have to pay lah, or don't have to pay yet. So, but if we talk about the proper clause, it will say that if there's events like this where the tenant cannot occupy the premises, they cannot use the premises for business. Their business is affected. Then they can rely on this clause to say that they don't need to pay rent. But good news now, government says if the landlord gives 30% discount on the monthly rental, that 30% is tax deductible. So it's fine lah. That one is fine. At least there is some assistance. Like my landlord, new landlord for this new office premises, because we have just expanded just before the MCO in the month of February. We expanded sideways. We opened a small office next door in our Puchong office. So the new landlord was very kind, and he agreed to deduct 30% of our rental, because we haven't really moved in, we haven't really started, and we cannot operate. So therefore, he's agreeable with 30% deduction of the monthly rental. Okay, so this clause, like I said, is something that we when our clients show us some documents or say that there's this clause, we cannot get too excited for our client and say, oh, from a financial point of view, legal point of view, you can rely on this clause automatically. No, we must still see the content of the clause. Is the clause properly drafted? Is it explained clearly? Then only we will know. So it's contract to contract basis. J is a bit different. This is it's a theory in theory wise. There's this doctrine of frustration. Frustration refers to a situation by no fault of either party. That means the employer cannot blame the employee cannot blame the employer, the landlord cannot blame the tenant cannot blame the landlord, because it is a situation where both sides is not their fault. For example, this virus thing, this thing. So can they rely on this doctrine? Cannot. Bar Council Industrial and Employment Law Committee, they have issued a statement to us to say that with this doctrine of frustration cannot be relied on for this particular situation. So no point discussing about this further. There are some lawyers that want to go deeper in this conversation, but we think that it's not necessarily, because even the committee of the Employment Bar Council has already given such statement. So it helps us give a bit of advice on how we can advise our client. Okay, so this is a very, very short article about what we have written. It's not exhaustive. In the matter of fact, we have a lot of things we want to share. But I will now go straight to the question first, so that at least we can answer the questions. Now, how do I find the chat? Let me see. How do I find chat? Oh dear. Oh, there. Okay. Now let's look at Kareem's question. I continue on the question. If you, or is there anything you like to add? No, I just continue the question. Okay, right. Okay, Kareem says, my client's hubby, means client, client, received email from his boss to inform him that he is terminated on 31st of March. So charmer, company will compensate him 2 months salary. He is at high salary ranking, only with the company for 2 years. So okay, some information there. Can he dispute not to accept such arrangement? Okay, so if he's terminated, can I presume that he's not working today this week That means they have stopped his access to the company information. They have stopped him from liaising email. Whatever that he's holding in his capacity, he has to return back to the company. I have to assume that. Okay, I assume that. That means this is what we call. This one is what we call. Well, before that, when he received the email, did he mention the reason? If there's what is the reason? Because is it following under retrenchment? If it is, then there must be good reason. And then based on the compensation, is he satisfied? What does his contract says? Does the company have to give in lieu of 2 months or more, because you mentioned here he is a high rank salary ranking. So high salary ranking, sometimes the contract may say you must give 2 months notice, yeah, if not, or 3 months notice. Sometimes in lieu of that, they have to pay further compensation. So may I suggest like that? When it comes to this situation, ask the client to forward to us. They can remove the name and IC number. They can remove maybe even the company name if they are not comfortable because they are forwarding it to you maybe, or email it to you, or they can send it to us. Let us have that information first, because we want to see what are the contractual obligations. Because even though there is law talking about what is the compensation that you should receive, but at the same time, we want to see whether there are other contractual obligations, not just from him to the company, but from the company to him. Some company, they have to, they have more contractual obligation, maybe in terms of money. It could be maybe there are other things on. For example, I just comparison. I have a manager, one of the client's manager resigned, and then he was asked, even though they pay him salary 2 months, whatever, they compensate, but they asked later, they asked to refund the business trip, or they asked to refund certain expenses used for some of the entertainment allowance, which is conflicting with the contract. So we may want to look at that first, so that we can tell him, maybe we can advise him later how to draft a reply to the employer. That means not lawyers reply, he himself reply first. See whether amicably, not involving lawyer, so that the employer don't involve lawyer also. So if he want to, if he doesn't want to accept the arrangement, of course he can send you the contract or send to us, and we can have a look. We can have a look at it, and then we can give some preliminary advice. If he accept, and later he thinks he doesn't want to accept, that means today say yes, tomorrow say no. If according to the industrial, within the 60 days, he can still go and make a complaint later lah. The one later he can still later make a complaint. Maybe he was forced to accept. We don't know. So we need to ask all these questions with him. How was the offer given? Was it verbal? Okay, you say email. Okay, email. What are the details of the email? Did they both of them waive to certain terms of the contract? Maybe when he replied, he agreed to waive certain terms, then we cannot later sue already. Cannot, that one cannot. So we need to see that contract lah. I know I'm not giving you a very straightforward answer, but that's the way employment law works. We must, because not all the employee are governed under the particular act, because the Contract Act allows them to contract outside. So if it's a normal basic employee or worker with a certain low pay, then they are more protected under the act. If not, we have to look at the contract, because the contract may have more terms. Okay, so for no reason, okay, she said no reason, then problem already. Because the employer owes an explanation to the employee. If not, it can be unfair dismissal. Unfair dismissal means I don't like your face, I fire you. I can give any stupid reasons, and then I can take action. So that is not right lah. So yeah, maybe we can look into his case lah. Okay. Now Vivian's question. I have a client received message from the company HR, encourage them to apply annual leave. Encourage means it's not compulsory lah. Encourage else my client is required to fill up worksheet to prove he's working at home. Yes, it's illegal. It's legal, sorry. To work at home is legal. It is very common, especially even for big companies. I can tell you from insurance company point of view, I used to work in MAA last time. I was a claims examiner for accident matters. So I'm well versed with the hierarchy of insurance company, internally. I can tell you that my ex-bosses, my ex-seniors, when I check with them, what is the company's policy now? Because I do make calls every now and then to check in the corporate world, you know, what's going on. Is there any rioting? You know, do they agree? The answer is yes. They are working from home. They are required to do what we call worksheet. Worksheet is quite common, medium-sized company to big firm, big company lah. They have this system. So every minute, every hour, they must record what they have done, who they have called, what email sent out, you know, which file they have gone through, you know. It's a good practice actually, but sometimes a bit rigid lah. You want to go to toilet at about in the afternoon you can, then you may have to declare that I was in the toilet stomachache for 1 hour. May have to declare that also, because they will check your work. They will check your work randomly lah. They cannot check everybody's work. They will check randomly. So Vivian says my client do not have business transaction during this period. Very difficult. No choice. If got no business transaction and there's no instructions from the company what to do, then working from home is basically waiting for phone calls. Maybe you can do some emailing, send some reminders. That's about it. Understandably, we understand, because not all the position can actually allow you to work from home. For example, I just example our firm. We have a receptionist. So receptionist cannot do much. Receptionist supposed to open door, close door, open on the lights, you know, bring the customer into the meeting room, do some paperwork, some admin work, recording, you know, in, out, sending posts, all this. So because of that, even if I instructed to give a worksheet, the individual cannot come back with a proper answer, you see, because there is no proper instructions, or there's no work that is related to that particular job scope. But to answer the legal question, it is legal. It is legal to require worksheet. That's the answer. Okay. Moving next to Clarence. Clarence iPad to everyone. My friend brother joined his company about 2 years. Okay. Currently, his company forced all employees on unpaid leave as long as MCO goes on, meaning zero salary. Is it legal? Answer is illegal lah. What can he do? His salary above 4,000 a month, ineligible for wage subsidy program. So it's a bit not fair. The company should have practiced retrenchment using the first in last out thing lah. To force everybody unpaid leave, I think tak boleh, unless they want to close the company. So this may be a bulk case. Maybe a lot of people a lot of the company, the employees, they can actually gang up. They can actually gang up and sue the company. But if the company got no money, then there is, of course, we will only know after we sue. There's also a chicken egg situation. If we help our client sue, we don't know whether the company can pay or not after the suit, after the court case. If they can pay, good. If they cannot pay, then that's it. We cannot sue the directors. We only can sue the company. But if the company is a partnership or a sole proprietorship enterprise, for example, and then the individual, the bosses are personally liable, and then maybe worth suing, maybe. We have to still check with our client and we have to ask them. So in this case, I think it's a bit strange that they were to force everyone to go unpaid leave, especially when because government announced that was for below 4,000, not above 4,000. They should call for meeting and discuss further. Immediate action, there's no immediate action. They still have to file their case as usual, either to sue in the civil court or in the industrial court. So they have to still take action. It will take time. That means the government didn't say now like, oh, if your bosses didn't pay you, you call this hotline, send an email or letter or what, and the government will straight away investigate. No, it doesn't work that way. You still have to go through the usual employment court or the civil court, whichever. So the answer is that I said to do it is illegal. What can he do? He can explain to the company that what they are doing is not right, ask them to reconsider so that they don't have to resort to legal action and reporting. But it also depends how many staff they have. If this is a moderate big company, normally they have a legal department. If they don't have a legal department, they got their panel lawyer. So they should have consulted first. I'm quite surprised that if you mention that his company forced all employees on unpaid leave. Quite a drastic move, because unpaid they must prove they must explain because unpaid leave means you are still a staff, but you are not working. I mean, you're not being paid for working at home or being at home. Okay, next. Let's see. Where are we now? Okay, that one done. Okay, I think I've answered. That's all. Above 4,000. So the answer is cannot cut pay without employee consent. Cannot. As I explained just now, you cannot cut a salary or any whether below 4,000, above 4,000, you cannot cut without the consent. You must explain. You must get consent. If not, they can take action later. Okay. The employee may not take action now because now still got salary, still receiving something. For example, if they cut the pay, they're still receiving. So take first, take to survive. Then later only can consider for the legal action. That one again, you must see the email chain, the documents, the contract, and then whether the employer has given proper justification. Actually, not just lawyers, they can also call the government human resource for advice, because this is a very popular thing now. Government, they all their hotline is active. They have to answer these questions. So beside looking at the Q&A that the Ministry of Human Resource has issued, you can see the link, or you can go and check. You can just Google Ministry of Human Resource under FAQ, frequent answer question, FQA, sorry, frequent question answer. Then you can see, you can just click download. It's a PDF, 3 pages, 4 pages, depending on it will tell you the answer there also. So it is quite clear. They cannot just cut salary without consent. They must have the consent of the employee. And let me also take this opportunity to share about maybe my firm on how we are dealing with this now. So as you know, law firms, you have lawyers and clerks, right? So for now, we are telling the clerks that lawyers that look, you continue to do your work, you continue to call clients, any old clients, you just give a call, any missed out inquiry sheets, give a call, whatever you can draft, whatever you can build, you just prepare it first. If there's any transfer documents, even though the client haven't signed, we can at least prepare first. So actually, we can still continue to do work or prepare work, and although it's still slowing down, but that's our positioning here. The reason why, because we must look from both angles. If we are the employer, if we cut the salary, no doubt the business will sustain, but the employee has their own commitment. You see, sadly to say, in based on the based on what was shown, the experts, economic experts, they are telling us that Malaysia, the SMEs, the smaller ones, all those, cannot sustain more than 2 months. So it's true, it's true, because we normally small firms or small companies will not have reserves for not more than 2 months. So we have to see from the angle. That's why this is a very good time to unite. We try not to go so much on fighting, fighting, because the fight will not benefit much people. Of course, lawyers can make some money, some lawyers, but it doesn't benefit. We would prefer to do what we call mediate. I type the word for everyone. M-I-D-A-T. This one, mediate, or the other word is mediation. Mediation is not meditation. For those It's not meditation. Mediation is different. Mediation is free if you go to the court. If the case is in court now, Mahkamah in Malaysia, you ask the lawyer, I don't want to fight, can we go for mediation? Talk to the court officer, talk to a judge. Let the judge be the middle person to listen to the story, with or without the lawyers. During court case, that one free. If want to hire lawyer like our firm, we have a mediation license, then charges is based on the maybe the hours, maybe the whole day from morning until night, morning until evening. They want a mediator, they'll come in, come out, come in, come out. I mean, there's discussion on both parties together with the mediator. It may cost them only 2,000 or 3,000, which is cheap. You spend one whole day to throw out everything and try to solve it, and then followed by a proper agreement for them to sign. So it's relatively cheap compared to court case. You fight 20,000, 30,000, fight for 1 year and so on. Right? So that is something that we encourage now in times like this, because this is a time where both sides suffer. It's not one side. No? Okay, there KL Tang says, company ABC, total headcount 50. Okay, so below 17. Salary below 4,000, 10 packs. Okay, 10 packs. Okay, if company ABC apply for wage subsidy program for the 10 packs, does it mean that company ABC cannot reduce salary? Yes, cannot reduce salary. Cannot retrench for all workforce, or only cannot retrench for the 10 packs? Cannot retrench for the 10 packs, and yes, you also put the answer there, for the next 6 months. If you take the government subsidy, you are acknowledging that you will not fire that particular employee for the next 6 months, because you are taking the money for the next 3 months. It is April, May, June. So you are getting government subsidies for 10 workers for 3 months. So you cannot retrench or reduce the salary unless it is something that they do wrong. They steal the company's what do you call these things? Then the word is not retrench already. The one is fire, because there is some illegality. Of course, illegality comes with a police report. Of course, there is also there may be a police case. For example, under criminal breach of trust, CBT. So I don't know whether you all know CBT. The law also includes rotan. But let's not go there. So basically, if you want to know more, you go and do your own research also. Very interesting Malaysia about CBT. There's a reason why I say that. You check the law, what's the punishment? Okay, so yeah, the answer for KL Tang is basically Mr. Tang. This is the one this is the answer Thank you to our organizer for asking this question himself. So memang only 6 months. That's why very interesting, because for example, our own firm also we do it. I can be honest about it. We are also taking this package because it's good. It has reduced. You see, we don't want them to suffer. At the same time, government helping. So just take it. But of course, remember, this is not for the totally new staff. That means February staff, March cannot lah. We're talking about before January. That means those staff last year you hire, you can apply for this exemption. This assistant. Okay. Okay, Stanley is here. Some employers concern business continuity first and laid off employee now. They are ready to take the legal challenge, as the process will be few months to a year. Actually, I wouldn't say to a year. The process is a few months. It can be a few months. I think if a year is must be very high profile. And then I think a lot of people take MC. Always the lawyer take MC, then the witness take MC. Because now court KPI, the last 2-3 years is very strict. It's very short. Court is supposed to close cases depending on what type of area of law. For example, accident cases must be closed in 6 months, 9 months. They have this direction. No more like simply delay and things like that. Okay, so back to the question. They are ready to legal question as it will take few years, about a month to few years, and finally settle in the industrial relation court, okay, or labor court, okay, while they are able to sustain their company as priority. What is your view? Like I said, if the company or the business cannot continue at all, because even let's say they retrench 1, 2%, 3%, 5%, still cannot continue, then they should be fair. They should have a discussion with everyone, maybe to tell everyone that look, maybe we can have a consensus, everybody take a pay cut first. When the business is back to usual, they can give back the money. Also can. You see, we actually can come up with a lot of ideas. If the employer is willing to listen, they can always agree with everyone in writing, that what do you call this? Deduct on the salary first, and then later only agree to pay back later. Also can. It's business decisions. If they are talking with their employee, if they're not talking to their employee, making unilateral business is a disaster. It may not affect them now. I agree with you. It may affect them later. If yes, later, then it becomes a problem. Oh, we are on live on YouTube. How come we are live on YouTube? Oh, I can't hear Tang. Sorry, I think your mic off. Have to unmute.
Don't worry. I'm testing on live on YouTube, but it's on private lah. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, then that's fine. Okay, so continue. So that's my view lah, Stanley. As I said lah, maybe I'm a bit soft. Maybe I'm leaning towards everyone. Maybe because we have that mediation license, maybe we look it differently. We are not very pro. Some law firms are very pro employer because they get paid. Some are very pro employee also because they get paid. More problems, they bring the problem, they go and whack the employer. But I think this is a time where a lot of settlement agreements can be drafted, simple settlement agreements, settlement letters, for them to waive certain rights first, maybe, and then from there, things like that. Okay, so Wong Sai is here as well. For those in construction industry, can the main contractor claim penalty for subcontractor? Wow, I've not touched this for some time. Who can't deliver his job according to deadline due to MCO, subject to force majeure clause? Yes, of course, it's subject to force majeure clause, definitely. In the early years when I started practice, I'm doing a lot of construction cases. Of course, bearing in mind, main contractor and subcontractor, they always have VO. If you know what I'm talking about, VO is a variation order. So variation order is where maybe they want to extend additional things after they realize, while building. So in construction line, the agreement is constantly changing. When they issue the VO or they issue supplementary agreements, they can add in this clause. So they can maybe later they can add in this clause. Sign another agreement to them to do this. It's not fair. If you look at it, it's not fair for the contractor to not. Of course, that's also the reason why there's a new direction now that allows contractors certain areas to carry out works. So government is trying to solve the problem, but because of the initial virus attack, they cannot allow any non-essential business to even continue. So all these type of issues, these problems, is not just about consumption. It's also your usual goods sold delivered situation. You buy a product and then it was delivered late. Then I'm the middleman supposed to sell to the other person. That person sue me, I will sue, whoever. So we need to see the contract between me and the main supplier and me and my retail clients, for example. So we have to look at those. Normally, those purchase order invoices, they won't mention about this. Like I mentioned just now, one of the regular ones are shipping companies. Shipping companies, they definitely have this because they have to cover certain things like the act of God, this situation. Okay, so it is subject to this clause. That's why after this, a lot of lawyers will be, when they write any agreement, this clause, sure the customer will ask, sure the client will ask. They'll say, hey, you all will cover this or not? Sure. Last time they were covered, now they will be they will learn from lesson. It's like that. Because at the same time, tenancy agreement, you notice most of the time the agent, the real estate agent, want to earn a little bit. They will be the one doing the contract, and then they charge a little bit on the tenant. Maybe they charge a little bit on the landlord. So most tenancy agreement in Malaysia not done by lawyers. And if it's done by lawyers, it's one-sided. It's either side the tenant or either side the landlord. Most of the time, side the landlord. But if the landlord is chin-chai, the tenant choose the lawyer, then maybe that agreement will side the tenant. So like in my case, my own case, all the tenancy agreement is drafted by me. See not? Between me and my landlords in Kelantan, Penang, in Selangor. Selangor got 2 landlords. So all the tenancy agreement is done by myself. But is there a force majeure clause? Let me tell you now. Saya pun tak tahu. Cannot remember. It's a joke. It's a real joke. Because like I said, it's something that we never expect. I will talk about other clauses, but I didn't foresee this clause. So no choice, have to go and review that. But in view of the government's aid, I accept. And also the 30% for the reduction of penalty, reduction of what do you call this, rental. Okay, so next, Brian, Joshua, my understanding is new staff also eligible for the WSP, as long as they also contribute to SOSO and EIS. If they're eligible, then they're eligible. Because I read somewhere, because you must understand, I'm reading a lot of things. I'm reading on the employment side, I'm reading on the business side. I have quite a lot of things to read lately. If so, it's yes so. But I think if I read correctly, it's only for those that contribute yes to so, but before January. But I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong or read the wrong article. But in all these events, we have another article we'll publish. I'll send to Tang, Amy, and everyone. And then maybe you all can forward to yourselves. We will be continuing doing this article because we think it's helpful, give some clarity. But before we do articles, we must always double check. Because sometimes government website down. Just now, yesterday, meeting down. Government website, everyone rushed to go and ask. I myself also tried to log in to get the answer, the announcement, but there's no answers there. And the government server went down. So let's get finalize more of these things, because all these are quite new. And remember, government directives can change. Today they say like that. Tomorrow they can change one. Because this is not per se law. It is the law allows certain part for government directive, and that becomes law also. But that thing can change one. They don't have to go through the parliament to change it. No need. The government has this room to change. Like you see now, you see Facebook, a lot of people show their saman, $1,000. Go on the road, wow, 1,000. So charming. So you have to go out to work, then ask the boss to pay then stop Any other questions? If not a question, I will give you some other question that others have asked me before. Any question? I will prefer to answer your question first. I understand, like I said, this is not like the usual divorce case, estate administration case, with or without will, debt recovery. This is not usual. So the answer that I give you, I can't give you a fixed answer because everything is circumstantial. The government has given guidelines like on the benefits, but on the what do you call this, employment termination, all this, besides the guideline, we must also see the contract. So it doesn't have a fixed answer here. This is actually a very difficult. The employment law is not an area that most lawyers practice. Just for information. It's not every day. You call your normal SFP lawyers, they don't touch at all because it's so complicated. It can come under, like I said, the unfair dismissal or the constructive dismissal. Those smarter employers, they will force their staff to resign using constructive, and these clients don't know their right. These employees don't know their right because they say end of the day 是我辞职我签了I sign that I resign. Actually, it's wrong. They sign resign, they still can have legal action, even though they already resigned. Because it appears it's a voluntarily, actually it's not. So there are many things. So it can go on and go on. It can be all kind of reasons. But this new reason due to this MCO, all these are very new. We must again refer to government guidelines. I can tell you, if we take up any cases after this MCO, for those employees that are not paid, or because suddenly the boss just cut like that, I tell you, we also don't know the final answer. We know the principles. We know the employer may be at fault. But when it comes to the final one, if the employer can justify that they are doing the retrenchment thing, there is no choice. But of course, there's a difference. Retrenchment and reduction of salary is two different things. Retrenchment means I kick you out. So employer got more power to kick. It seems like that. It seems based on the guideline. But when they reduce, they gonna hantam. You see, without the consent. The normal scenario is if you reduce, you won't gonna hantam so much. But if you retrench, you're gonna hantam a lot. Because the list of beneficiaries, benefits, they must fulfill. So normally reduce, you still negotiating. If retrench means whatever benefit I'm supposed to get, how many number of years I service, I work, and then I am eligible to those benefits. Actually, if can, I wanted my other associate also to join us, the writer of this article, Miss Yap, but she's not able to. So never mind lah. Maybe we can direct you if your client has such problem.
Joshua, just share with you your articles. The articles that you forward to us. Can we actually send to our concern, send to their client? Can, right?
Can. But just tell them this one is as of 3rd April.
Oh, 3rd April. Okay.
Just now got some the point there. Like can they not work? Now the non-essential already open. They already open. I mean, up to you. Just tell them as for information only, but there may be more feedback after that. Actually, I speculate. I don't know about you all. But I speculate. I think after the 28th April, there will be extension.
Extension.
I think so, because I see the pattern. Announce 2 weeks, then another 2 weeks, and then because it's a very unpopular move if you announce 2 months. Wow, it's very unpopular. People will get angry. So 2 weeks, but there's improvement. 2 weeks, we are almost there. Then we are opening up. Because why would you want to open up a film industry, and then it's only for 2 weeks? You see, unless you are going to extend further, then only you are putting a lot of effort there already. But this is again very speculation. It's not law based. It's just something that I hear from business people. I hear from my clients. I hear from other legal people in the some in the bar council. Yes, I'm in the bar council too. It's just that I'm in the child right committee. I'm not in the industrial relations. I'm in the child right committee. So that is also a problem now. There's a lot of articles, a lot of messages saying that there is more children abuse now. Because less lawyers working on the road, less NGOs working on the road, child being abused at home, there's less social worker can go and see, the condition of the child. Cannot check, So
Sure.
the balance there also is a problem.
So your firm is specializing in this what is your firm specialized?
Well, we are doing estate administration, like I said, and then it is around there So that means someone passed away or didn't pass away, accident, claim against motor vehicle, or either in the shoes of the executor want to sue for debt recovery or enter into agreements. In the shoes of the beneficiary wants to sell the property, transfer the property, maybe rent out the property, lease the property. Rent a tenancy and leasing agreement is two different things. There's a different right there. And then of course we have a lot of family law cases because sometimes before they do estate planning, they want to sort out their relationship with their spouse. So we do a lot of custody of applications there, what do you call this, and so on. So the employment, these are more specialized area. where just like S&P, S&P is a more specialized. We still do that, but we also have affiliate lawyers that come in and work together with us as counsel.
I see.
So like criminal law, we don't do. We don't do ourselves. I myself is a YBGK lawyer. That means if I now volunteer, now to be a lawyer for the people, and anybody now in jail now, and they call the helpline, the government helpline, the helpline will link to the legal aid center. Legal aid center will contact me. Then I will go and out. I can drive out and volunteer to solve this in the police lockup there, all those things, and I will be paid. Government will pay me. There is a fund for private lawyers like us to claim. So this was a program started in 2013. So this one I can do. But am I specialized doing this every day? No. Because this is something that we've tried, but it cannot do too much. And then we realized that this one better have another lawyer that every day do this. Then we rather work on that basis.
Okay.
Because after a while you get tired, because the client asks the question. This principle, in my opinion, applies on lawyers, financial planner, estate planner, will writer, insurance, same. The rule of thumb I feel now is that when client asks us a question and we don't know how to answer, we say we come back to you later. Die already. I feel that client already find another person because there's so many other people that can upgrade themselves, educate themselves. So from a lawyer point of view, just a sharing, I also study other things. I study body language. So I can tell you from if the client will talk to you like this, like that, hands closed, closing the mouth while talking. All these are different. Head tilting, the leg, one in, one out. One in, one out means I'm not talking to you, cow. I may want to chow on, no. I may leave anytime. So body language helps to also know which client you should pay more attention to when having a discussion, or are they comfortable with your statement? You gave a legal statement, they're not comfortable. Maybe you change it or see why are they uncomfortable. Are they lying to us? When a person is looking at you like this, now I'm looking at the hand. If I'm looking on my top left, my eyes is looking at the left side. What does it mean? You ask me a question. For example, Joshua, have you bribed the police before? My eyes are top left. Left is your brain that control the answer that you want to give. Right is creativity. So left, if your eyes is looking to the left, is an indication that you're thinking how to answer. Which means if it's a straightforward question and you're thinking how to answer, you're thinking how to lie. So that's also important. So when we do cases, whether it's debt recovery or whether it's agreement or what, we ask certain questions and the client start looking top left and all those, and then we know maybe this person is either not ready or lying to us, not telling us the truth. Do you love your son? Do you want to, the reason for divorce, is it his fault? Is it your fault? They start, So this is very important. So we have to continue to upgrade, not just on the law, on the business side. I do have meetings with other clients sometimes and other lawyers or what on different areas so that we can improve ourselves.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Bar council, I can tell you, those seminars that they organize, I also still attend one. Even they have estate administration talking about will, probate, the one I attend sometimes, if not, I ask my lawyer go, because maybe they have update there that we don't know. So we have to humble ourselves to go and learn. Now we got a lot of online CPD courses also. So we are also attending that, or trying to attend that.
It's good. It's good. Excellent. Excellent. Very good. Is there any other question from for Joshua?
Please ask. Please ask.
Is that
Brian said also smart to do a poll before the extension.
Yeah.
But also got the also got the Q&A. They just sent to us yesterday also. Yesterday they sent to us, asked us to give what they can do to help. So I happily write lah. Please give us some money. Please give money. No, honestly they mean because we pay to the bar council. Lawyers we pay every year to bar council. We're paying about 1,000, 2,000, 3 per year per lawyer, So how many lawyers times how many ringgit? So actually they always the money one. They can actually give back. So what we mean is that maybe give for 2 months each lawyer get 1,000, something like a frame, but it's because bear in mind, just now those packages 4,000 is only is also applicable for us. So mainly the clerks will benefit, but the lawyers don't benefit. If the lawyer's salary is more than 4,000, the lawyer's not going to benefit from it. So the firm have to pay.
Yeah.
In other words, I have to pay lah.
How many staff do you have altogether, Joshua?
We now have a team of 6 lawyers.
6 lawyers.
And our lawyers is very interestingly from different places. So, for example, I talk about the one in our today. Today, Ai is here. So Ai is actually from Setiawan, north. But she's also based, but she's based in Puchong also. And she also assists on Penang and northern cases. So Wen Hui assists on East Coast, Kelantan, Kuantan, Temerloh, and also, of course, each of them also have their international clients, because some clients, they buy property in Malaysia, assets in Malaysia, they have businesses in Malaysia, problems in Malaysia. So some of us also have different portfolio. We do Hong Kong, UK, US, Australia, a bit different. Affiliate lawyers wise, we have in other countries, meaning they are not directly under us, but they have signed certain agreement with us. So USA, we have Washington, UK, we have England, and then for Singapore, we have one. Maybe I can discuss with you on that, because you can directly contact them, not a problem.
Sure.
It's just that a proper introduction is better.
Sure. Because in Singapore, we are in Singapore side. This is our office lah. You can see my background, but I'm not in office lah. Just a virtual background. Yeah. So we just moved in this office 2 months ago lah. So so we have about 400 people in Singapore. I mean advisors. In Malaysia is about 70. Staff force is about 60, 70 people lah in Singapore. Full-time staff lah, including myself. So for estate planning, we do have a will writing company, our own will writing company. We work with we work internally last time. Then we work externally. Then 2-3 years ago, we decided to set up a will writing company, because as you know, will writing is not subject to any license at this point of time. It just draft. Yeah. So we have our own will writing company, but we do work with lawyers for complicated will, because our will writing is more simplified will, so that we can reduce the cost of client to actually have a will. But if let's say the will is too complicated, then we will also have a law firm to work with. And then we work with trust companies. In the sense, we work with a few trust companies. So because we are independent, so we want to work with partners that can offer their quality service to us. So that's what happened in
important to be independent. I agree with you.
Yeah. But the thing is, because Malaysia is different, that a lot of we came in later, and a lot of estate company or will or trust company started earlier. So that's why the situation is a bit different now. But I think your service is actually quite important, because oftentimes we do planning, and that is before any event happen. But when the event happen, then your service become very important. And I think it's good for consultant, not only in Malaysia but also in Singapore, to understand. Because most of our clients, you talk about probability lah. Not all our clients will have this event happen now. It might happen in future, and it happen maybe not. In that probability is certain a very small percentage in a year, for example. So, but it will happen sooner or later. It will happen more and more. So I think it's good to know about this, and you have a lot of experience in this, because you're on the business, you are dealing with this day to day. So day on day. And I think in that perspective, I would want to talk to you to maybe organize a session, particularly on estate administration, particularly on estate. So I just checked with my team. Okay, for my team consultant in FAA advisory, do you want Joshua to come back to talk about this topic on estate administration, so that you have, please put one if you want to. If you want Joshua to come back to talk about estate administration, please put one, so that we know that you need this type of knowledge to actually invite Joshua to come back to talk about estate administration, how a lawyer like him how they deal with the client when the client need to deal with their estate administration. Okay, So please put 1. Okay. So because we conduct this session quite often, I mean daily now lah, except Sunday. So we will find out the right time for you to maybe come back to talk about this area again. I think because we are now focusing a lot of topic on MCO period. And one of the topic that we saw in Singapore at this point of time also, that a lot of people also keen to know about will trust and LPA, lasting power attorney. In Malaysia, do we have a lasting power attorney that people can sign LPA for?
We have power of attorney lah. It doesn't start with the word L. But prior to this government allowing, soon allowing to have legal service.
Okay.
The problem with power of attorney is that it must be registered in the court.
I see. Because I see.
So we have to witness it at the same time. It must be filed, registered in the court. So the problem was we cannot witness it because a conveyancing committee actually come up with in Malaysia came up with a guideline to us lawyers that lawyers should not witness video video calls. So when this came out, those that asked me, will writer planners, they asked me, can they witness or not? I told them, if our side also say no, I think you all better don't witness.
Sure.
If not, it will be a problem. So yeah, that's the issues that came up.
So the here Singapore limited power attorney is actually is to cater for the mental incapacitated person. If let's say they want to have a power attorney to help them on their financial matters lah. So they have this LPA for people to actually apply and then sign off. So there's 2 types lah. So one is actually one is more simplified, one is more complicated, and the witness can be a doctor or a lawyer in that sense. So I think, I'm not sure whether there is one in Singapore, Malaysia like that, limited power attorney. But Singapore, there's this limited power attorney because more and more people have this dementia, and during that time, upon that time, probably they need another person to take care of their finances. So that's why they have this thing. So I think there are many people keen on this topic. I'll discuss internally and then see what we can do because first thing first, we want to actually focus on topics that we can actually talk to our client or maybe potential client about their their financial matters. And if let's say this is something that they also think that is important, for example, then we will want to have a session on this as well. All right. So is there any other question for Joshua? Because now I think it's a very interesting topic. Joshua, you have any other thing to add on?
Yeah, just to add on, because we have also some constraint here. We can do this session online, but it must be done in maybe in the Q&A format lah.
Sure.
Q&A format. Because over the years we also do seminars, the physical seminars, where it allows us to give tips and practical answers besides the law. But not everything we can do it online.
Sure.
So the right channel that we normally do is always like that. In a matter of fact, this Q&A situation is only starting during this MCO. For our firm outside, we have not really done online seminars.
Okay.
We are only doing now online Q&A sessions.
No problem.
Give answers, we give explanation and so on.
No problem. I think Q&A will be good because most of our consultants should be have that knowledge or experience in terms of estate planning or will and trust. So they probably have some question. Then it will be a very good learning session. If you are, let's say, using Q&A format as well, because they probably have real cases to actually share, and then you can actually give us your insights about the situation.
Yeah. Sharing is actually a very good thing because then everyone gets to know the situation and we can share. Because even up to today, I'm still receiving sometimes questions about estate administration from franchisee or agents or planners, where sometimes it's still basic question but maybe we tend to forget.
Sure.
No worries. Outside here, the law we are still updating as well. Just like practice in court, there are updates. Like for example, I can just give a quick update. For example, in Malaysian courts, since this year January, there is a change of probate officers. So all our January and February cases actually slowed down.
Oh.
Reason is not because we don't know what to do, or we have too many staff, or we too much work we cannot do. No, it's because the court officers are new. So for example, in Shah Alam, an officer on duty today, for example, Monday to Monday, he or she may have 10, let's say 10 cases, example 10. 9 will be the one that he or she is familiarized. I mean, maybe bankruptcy, civil court. Then there'll be one probate case. So they will choose this as your last case to be heard on the day. They will choose as the least important. You get me not? So there is an update, for example. So if when they ask, we can explain. Because sometimes the information transfer to client or probate can be done in 2.5 months. How come Joshua this time took about 3 months, for example? Because there's a delay, officer new.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you so much, Joshua. I think thank you so much for coming on on Saturday as well, because supposed to be Friday yesterday, but because there's some miscommunication, so yesterday is my MD who came on for this session. So then we have to actually postpone to today. But thank you so much for your participation and your time to share with my team here. Let's give Joshua a round of applause by using your reaction to thank Joshua so that he can see all of you. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. And also thanks.
Anything, just drop WhatsApp or call lah.
Sure. Can. Okay. So can I will contact you, and also thank you, Amy, for also your Amy introduction, and we shall see each other soon as well. And keep safe and healthy, and yeah. Okay. Bye. See you. Bye. Thank you. Okay. Amy, thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.